Don Lemon shares interesting facts about Trump supporters, and Cori Bush calls Trump a white supremacist. More of this in this video. Welcome to Republican Talks, everybody. I'm your host, Kenneth Glenn. And today we got some interesting stories coming today. So, a congresswoman, her name is Cori Bush. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. Cori Bush, she's a congresswoman, and during Trump's impeachment trials, she decided to call him a white supremacist. We'll get to that later. But first, we're going to talk about Don Lemon. So Don Lemon, he's a CNN political commentator. He's pretty terrible at his job, in my opinion. And not too long ago, he was on with Chris Cuomo. He was on live with Chris Cuomo, and he was talking about how if you voted for Trump, you voted for the same people who voted for, or that the Klan voted for. So we're going to play that clip for you guys real quick right now.
Bigotry.
Right, and if they say, I don't agree with those people, I just like Trump's policy.
Well, then get out of the crowd with him. Get out of the crowd with him.
I wasn't in the crowd. I just voted for Trump.
You're in the crowd who voted for Trump. If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported. You voted for the person who Nazis support. You voted for the person who the alt-right support.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible how he wants to compare Trump supporters to Nazis and KKK members. So his ideology basically is, if one person in the crowd voted for this person, that means everybody must be like the one person in the crowd. But the only problem with that ideology is I could flip that just as easy on you. Alright? Because I actually have evidence of Klan members who have voted for Joe Biden. So, if I want to be a scumbag, which I'm not, I could just say, hey, Don Lemon, guess what? A Klan member voted for Biden. So guess what? You're a Klan member too. I could say that, but I'm not going to. That's not my place. And also I have a brain in my head. So Don Lemon basically just goes on and says, oh, get out of the crowd, get out of the crowd. Chris Cuomo's being pretty responsible. That's very, very weird in my opinion though, because I've never seen him like so... Usually I'm very against him, but actually I kind of liked him what he was saying there. Which is nice. It's nice to see when people you don't really agree with often, and when you finally agree on something, it's kind of nice to see that. I don't know if you guys get that same feeling or not, but I think it's really nice when people you disagree with agree with you for once. It's actually kind of cool. And Don Lemon is basically just trashing on him and saying, oh, if you voted for him, you're a white supremacist, if you did this. Which I could easily flip that as hard on you, if not harder, because the Democrats have such a large history of white supremacy and all that stuff. And by the way, I like how he says that, white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Oh, actually, no, he didn't even say neo-Nazis. He said Nazis straight up, like straight up Nazis. And he said that they voted for Trump. Okay, where's your data? Hey, Don Lemon, how about you show me one piece of data that shows that a white supremacist, or not necessarily a white supremacist, that a Nazi or a Klan member voted for Trump? Give me one piece of evidence that that's true. Give me one. Okay? And before you say, oh, how about you prove that there's not? I shouldn't have to prove what you claimed. It's your claim. You should have to prove it, not me. So, I don't understand. And he always brings up, I don't understand how they have to use these strong words like racist, white supremacist, Klan, when there's literally no evidence of this happening. I hate how people use strong words, because once there is an actual case of it, no one's going to take you seriously. Here's going to be my illustration for this next part. So Steve King, he said a racial slur, or said something racist a few years ago, and a bunch of leftist media said that he was super racist for it. But we had not enough evidence to prove that he actually said it. So a bunch of people said, no, we disagree because you're probably just crying wolf again. Because this is what happens when you cry wolf. When every single thing that someone says is racist, and then they actually say something racist, it's not gonna... People are not gonna believe you, because that's not how it works. You don't say something 5 times in a row, have it not be true 5 times, expect the sixth time for people to believe you. It shouldn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So Steve King, he was he said something racist. The Democrats and leftist media was all over saying how racist he was. And a lot of people, like a lot of right-wing news media, like Ben Shapiro, for example, he's a very conservative news outlet on the Daily Wire. He didn't believe that what Don King said was necessarily racist at the beginning, because he wasn't going to believe something that just a Democrat says, because Democrats are known to lie about stuff like this. Proof right here with what Don Lemon's saying. Don Lemon's calling everybody who voted for Trump a KKK member, white supremacist. So when he sees an actual white supremacist, he's going to call him out, and then no one's going to believe him. In my opinion, that's going to be very dangerous. Alright, so in my personal opinion, you should not be going around calling every single person you see a white supremacist if they disagree with you. Next off, the whole everyone's a Klan member and Nazis and KKK. Actually, Joe Biden spoke at a Klan member's funeral. He actually gave it an eulogy or something like that. So, if anything, Joe Biden would be voted for by a bunch of Klan members. Because think about it. I'm not saying this to be mean to Joe Biden or anything. I'm going to use actual facts and knowledge of U.S. history to prove that to you, that Klan members are more likely to vote for Joe Biden. Alright, so if you look at history, and when you remember who started the KKK, the Democrats started the KKK. Not modern Democrats, very old Democrats from like 100 years ago. Started the KKK back in the 1800s. And the KKK consisted of different political people who had political power. And they were Democrats. Most of them were Democrats. And I think there may have been some anti-federalists. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about all that. But most of them were Democrats. So would it be unreasonable to think that maybe some previous Klan members voted for Joe Biden? No, I don't think so. Because like I said, most Klan members were people of power, political people of power, in government. So, if there's Democratic people in government, in the Klan, there's probably going to be political people who are Democratic voting for Joe Biden. That's just simple facts. Not saying it did happen, I'm just saying it's more likely to happen that way. Alright, now we're going to move on to Cori Bush and her statements. Alright, let's move on to that.
St. Louis and I rise in support of the article of impeachment against Donald J. Trump. If we fail to remove a white supremacist president who incited a white supremacist insurrection, it's communities like Missouri's 1st District that suffer the most. The 117th Congress must understand that we have a mandate to legislate in defense of black lives. The first step in that process is to root out white supremacy, starting with impeaching the white supremacist in chief. Thank you, and I yield back.
A recent endorsement from David Duke.
I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow.
Ah, yes. Donald Trump, the biggest white supremacist ever, says Cori Bush. And people were actually agreeing with her, by the way. I mean, if you actually watch the whole video, people were actually agreeing with her that this person's a white supremacist. And by the way, if you want to know something funny, that was during the impeachment trials, and one of the impeachable offenses is slander, and that is slander, so they could actually impeach her and get her out of there. They probably won't, though, because she fits the agenda that the Democrats want. So I doubt they'd be able to get however many votes you need in the House. I know you need 50 Senate votes. You need 50 Senate votes if you win the House, but I don't know how many House votes you need if you win the Senate. And when it comes to impeachment trials, anyways. But she calls Trump a white supremacist, a dude who has done so much for the black community. He's been involved with multiple African American people. So for the idea that you think he's a white supremacist with no evidence at all of it is absolutely asinine to me. It boggles my mind to think that there's actual people out there that think Donald Trump's a white supremacist, and it's disgusting, in my opinion. Donald Trump's a white supremacist? That's crazy. No way. Not especially when you got things like this that Joe Biden has done. Let's flip to that clip.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Okay, so what's your argument now? So you got Donald Trump on video saying that white supremacy is evil and how he's against it. And then you got Joe Biden on there saying that crap. Who's the real white supremacist, huh? I'd like to see one person go against Trump and defend Joe Biden. I'd like to see you guys try. You can't. You can't defend this guy. Okay? The best case scenario is just ignore both of them and stop making everything about race. In my opinion, that's the best thing to do. You didn't see presidents throughout all of history being called white supremacists just for running for the Republican Party. You didn't see that very often. Think about Ronald Reagan in the 80s. You think everyone thought he was a white supremacist? Well, John F. Kennedy, was he a white supremacist? I don't think he was a super great president or anything, but no, he wasn't a white supremacist at all. Same thing with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan wasn't the best president ever. He was a good president. I liked a lot of his views. But he wasn't a white supremacist. So I hate I hate when people call people such strong names when there are actual cases of those strong names that could be used on actual bad people, but they use them on innocent people just because they don't like them. So anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you liked the video, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe for more. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, Donald Trump is your president, and if you like it or not,